So we're the 1st of March here for our charting and training call. That's what it's called. The charting and training call. I want to hear about some of these. I want to hear about some of our wins. I want to hear about our monthlies, our weeklies. I want to hear some input, outputs. Y'all tell me some stuff about how February went. Come on, come on, come on. February. I want to hear some updates, some something. Y'all, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Good, bad, or indifferent. I want to hear something. Let's go with that. Somebody.
All right, well, I'll go.
Okay.
I be trying to let the people go, and then they
You
say
first. You can go ahead.
I be trying to let the people go, and then they say, "Well, I don't want to go because it's like, well, you know, hey,
Oh,
you
goodness.
really don't want to come after me, but since you ain't gone already, then I'm gonna go." I try to wait. Yeah, no, February was better. I'm glad we still doing research. I mean, research, risk management.
Yes.
I can't believe it's March because honestly,
Yes.
I ping you all the month, every beginning of the month, like what challenge we doing now? I didn't even do that. I forgot. Like I can't believe
Yes.
it's March. That's
Yes.
crazy. 2 months
Yes.
down. But um February was good. I had three losses in the sense of what a loss is. But the third loss was not a loss on the day. But if you
Okay.
have to count for a loss, was there a small loss? Yes. But I did
Okay.
have two. I did have two. I only had two major. I only had two red days in the month of February. So if we got February has 20 minus one because we had President's Day, so that's 19 days. So 17 days.
Mm-hmm.
We good.
Well, look at you. Look at
Look at
you.
hello. And
Yeah.
compared to March, I mean compared to January, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. The improvement was there, and the money was there.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
money, the money was there. But February was a different month from January. The recovery, oh my God, the way SPX moved in February compared to January, it's a different monkey. It's a different animal, and
Yeah.
SPX be keeping us on our toes because
Oh, yeah.
that recovery sometimes don't always be so like it. And yeah, so February, you got to know how to read it. And I'm getting better with reading it because I ain't gonna lie, I don't think I looked at Magic 8 Ball not once for the
Mm-hmm.
most part. I do like if I'm not in a trade in the afternoon, I'll you normally end up putting out the BT before I get a chance to, and you 9 times out of 10 I'm already in it. So
Mm-hmm.
but Gamma is my girl. Gamma.
Oh, yeah.
I
Gamma
gotta
definitely has been a lifesaver. Definitely helps to guide us.
For sure, for sure. So
Yep.
no, no
Definitely.
thanks, no thanks. And yeah, here's to well, March is my month, so if February was like that, look out, March. Here she comes.
So hopefully you don't mind this, but Janae mentioned in at the end of the year that her job had trans was closing. She was quote unquote being laid off out of her position. And she decided, this is really, I'm telling this as an encouragement, hopefully to somebody who's listening, that she was at the place where she could start looking for a job or could she trade for her income. So she and I had a discussion about what does that look like? What does trading for my income look like? Instead of going to find another job right away, what does trading for my income and trading for my livelihood, what does that look like? So she and I talked about it. I encouraged her to give it a shot, to give it a chance, since you have this transitional season and there would be some unemployment, that she could use this time to, just like you would be focused on a job during the day, be focused on trading, focused on using the skills you've already generated and learn, what is your number for each day, what is her number for the month, kind of to really kind of address these things and see what did you actually need And Janae accepted the challenge. I'll use the word challenge. She accepted the challenge to really like dial in and be focused on what trading each day look like, trading for income, which you all have probably read her talk about how she's pulled money out at the end of the week, or after she got to a certain amount, she's pulled money out and continued to trade, but just been real serious about it to say, can I do this for income? It's a different level of pressure when you're trading for your livelihood than it is when you're trading for I'm just getting an extra, I got a job and I've got, this is extra money coming up trying to grow my account. There is a different mindset. I don't care how you phrase it or what you put it, you're going to look at things different, because when you're trading for your, your light bill, your rent, your car note, is different than when you trade in for some extra dollars that are in your, just to have some extra money in your brokerage account. It's a different mindset. So again, Janae for the month of February has really been focused on that. And you all have seen the fruit and the result of that. So I want to say big ups, whoop whoop, to Janae. She's continued to do it. Whether or not she decides to get a job or not, totally is going to be up to her. It's all her choice. But I'm just saying that it's up to this point, she's dialed in and tried to really focus on doing this for a living, quote unquote. And so far, looks like it's doing its thing.
Extra prayers, Jeanette. Extra prayers now for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So when you see stuff, you
I
see
wasn't
where
going to
she,
say anything
I
because
know.
look at Coach telling my business, but
Yeah,
it's all
yeah, I
good.
know.
But
Yeah.
I but let me testify and leave a testimony on this. Um, I've only watched Coach, right? So with all due respect, there's been a couple of people I've seen. My missions trip, this young lady who was on a missions trip with us, we was at an orphanage and we all was told to like self-identify. Well, homegirl came out and she says, "Yeah, I'm a day trader and I'm a missionary."
Oh,
And I looked at her and I said, "Oh, that's what that
oh,
looks like." I said,
oh, that's what that looked
"Okay,
like.
God." I said, "Okay,
Okay.
God, that's what that looks like." Okay, God. Cause and at this time I really didn't know that my job was going to be axed.
Yeah.
I was in Kenya, so it didn't. Yo, I kid you not. When I came back from Kenya is when I got the notice on my
Right.
8th year anniversary. Long story short, I hemmed in hard. People was like, "Yeah, I know you're supposed to keep looking," and I'm like, I have different energy right now, and I don't know why, but I just do. So I took it to Coach because Coach always goes to her coach, which is TJ, and she never lets you. She always lets you know. So I'm like, yo, let me see what Coach says. And I didn't know. I had no idea. But Coach did throw out a challenge. She said, try it for 3 months. Right? I just thought she was gonna say a month. She said, try it for 3 months. I understand 30 days. I can do 30 days, right? She said, try it for 3 months. And I mean, I wrote it down and I said,
Oh,
okay.
3 months.
3 months. All right. And this ain't a flex, but God is good. My company, real quick, they didn't just lay me off, right? So October 30th should have kind of could have been my boss. I know she had to have said extend she's fine till the end of the year. So I literally my last day was December 31st. It was a very tearful day, and I mean it. Mm. My company gave me mad love, and both my company and the company I was working for. This past Friday was the last check.
Mm.
I had a check January, every other, whatever the cycle was, whatever the cycle was on the Fridays when you get paid. Last Friday was my very last Friday, was my very last check. So much so that I didn't even need a check. I put that check into my Roth IRA, put it to 92% max, just put it over there. I didn't even expect that. Um,
Amen.
right now I'm trying to file for my health care, whatever. And we'll pay it from there. Did I know that this was going to happen? Your girl is going to be 50 in a couple of Saturdays. All I know is God loves a cheerful giver.
It's a
And
50 where? 50 where?
I know. She too fly for 50, girl.
She too
But
fly for
she
50.
too fly. She too fly for 50. She too fly for 50. But if you would have told me that this could have been, when I say I got some money stacked and here and there, she does. And you still can't take it, so it don't matter. You still kind of gotta wait. But this is giving me that opportunity. And I'll close with this. I remember just me, how I got into this journey through Terry and just hearing her. And like everybody I hear and see, I take a little glimpse, I take a little something, something from. And this is really Coach's year. So I ain't got shit, please. What I'm doing ain't nothing. We know that this is Coach's year. And she just poured into me, yo. And I've just followed, I've just watched, I've honed in, I do my own thing, because I need to know how to do it myself. So I'm always on the grind to know what to do for myself. Yeah. I take my own course and whatever, and do whatever I gotta do. But yeah, I got my tax people and my financial people, yo, and we all dialing in, and this is what it is. So Coach, had you not challenged me, and I don't know if you knew, because I don't listen, and I don't listen. So
I did know.
I don't listen. But if you say a challenge, you kind of speak in my language. Okay. And that spoke to me. And I was like, oh, okay. And of course, the Lord, if I have restless nights, then I know what's up. But I ain't had a restless night. So I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. Don't let me cry. I thank you, Coach.
All good. Extra prayers today.
Thank you.
Well, let me jump in. I was on a mission trip 2 years ago. We were in a cafe in Kenya. And I was sitting next to, there was a table, a young man had his laptop, Luke was watching a movie, and he was trading. And before we left, I said, yo, man, you trading? I'm trading too. And we exchanged WhatsApp numbers. And he told me, I only trade gold.
I remember you told us that, yeah.
And here's my point. The Lord said to me, I did not bring you all the way over here not to pay attention.
Okay.
I said, okay.
Okay.
I got gold in my portfolio and silver. And Jeanette, guess what? I did not go back to school in September.
Yeah.
Because my mother is 90. She'd be 95 in 2 days. And I said, Lord, I need you to provide. And so I've been blessed to be able to, we right here to learn, to glean, to grow. So I concur with you. I decrease, Coach.
Yes. That's a very good testimony. Thank you both for sharing, Janae. Thank you for being transparent, for giving me the space to tell part of your story. I didn't think you would mind, but yeah, I didn't think you would mind, but I do appreciate y'all, because y'all already know that this, what we do here on a daily and a weekly basis, can take a toll on your mentals, on your physical, if you're not careful, on your psychologicals, especially when we're learning and doing, and it doesn't go the way you think it should be going. I know for me, I wrestle. I think I'm better with it now, but I trade for us, with me and us, and then I trade in the copy trading account. So while trading, membership and everything going fine, copy trading, my month of February in copy trading was a negative month. To me is bipolar. This is a dichotomy, and I'm that's not how I roll. So even though for the month of February, overall in my accounts, I made over $13,000 in my accounts, copy trading was negative for the month. I'm like, okay, no, Lord, this is not what you told me was going to be the deal. So now I need to hear what it is you want for me to be doing, because all of this, like you said, this is my year. I do know, I talk about this a lot, about how I know that the enemy likes to come against, and he really wants to discourage and make you fearful and discourage you and say, I don't know if. Now, copy trading has been going less than 90 days. It's less than 3 months old, and we're still up 15%. So this is the thing. You can be focusing so much on something that's a negative and forget to overlook the cumulative, because copy trading, since I started it in December, is up 15% in 2.5 months. So that's really good. I mean, that ain't like phenomenal. It's not what I wanted it to be, but we're not red on the, but February was red. And I'm like, I'm not too keen on this, Lord. March got to be different. So, but I know it's just, it's oppositional forces. I do know February was difficult because we had to manage a lot of flips and dips, and how far we going down? Are we coming back up? And SPX just did her thing every single day. And again, trade what you see. I have to manage me in the midst of which I trade these two accounts similar, but I can't trade them the same. I can't trade my account the same as I trade the copy trading. It's just because my style is aggressive. My personal style is aggressive. I can't trade copy trade. So I had to say, Lord, okay, help me find a balance. And I'm saying all this to say, I had to say, okay, Lord, help me find a balance so that way I can do both of these successfully, because I'm all about being successful at what I put my hands to do. I don't believe you called me here to not have success. We spend too much time. We spend too much time on these here charts, on these looking at stuff, and too much energy for this not to work out. So that's why I say with Janae, Pastor Will, and anybody else, there's some more people I know who are in the call who have had some frustrations here. Just know that February was difficult to trade. So regardless of what you know or don't know, February was not easy. You can go look on anybody's feed, anybody who was trading anything, whether they were trading it with, good folks trading well, struggled in February. Okay, so don't be fooled about that. If the folks who have been doing really, really well was struggling in February. Okay, so now we out of February. February is behind us. We're moving on into March. And now we've got some extra geopolitical things we have to work with, and we're just going to work with them. We're going to trade light and trade wise. The risk management challenge continues. We've had 2 months. Hopefully you all are much clearer on when do we exit, whether that's with a profit or with a loss, because I know there was some of y'all who up good profit, and you just riding it on out to the sunset. And then next thing you know, SPX turned back on you and you're like, wait, no, I didn't set my PDT act. It happened to me once this month. I didn't set my PDT act. I thought it was a given, like it was going to stay, or I wasn't paying attention. Okay, we got to do that. That's one thing. Second, like TJ, Miss Marcia, whosoever is just getting there, Tanya, getting your bit and going. I think Lakeisha does the same thing. Get your little bit and go. Delisha, same thing. Get your bit and go. Get what you're going to get. I'm not saying minimize, but if you see you get $40 or $50 and that's what's a good amount for you to compound, get your money and go. Okay, close it, go on to the next trade or go on to no trade, whichever. Do what, this ain't the season for being greedy. If you know that you don't have the bandwidth or you don't have the ability to watch, then trade what you can and then move on. If you don't want to watch, trade what you're going to trade and move on. Okay, we're real clear. We're clear on our strat combos. Hopefully we're leaning in on those. What's the combo that you like? And then you're trading those combos. I told people on Friday, while price was kind of doing its gymnastics, which was just going back and forth, to look at your strat combos and see which ones you like. Look back at those and see what was going on with the combos to see if there was something that you were interested in. All right. Let's go ahead and look at the charts. I am going to go through, Janae asked that we go through that little chart thing that I give y'all every day. And I'm going to do that here. Y'all see Netflix on the screen. Netflix just really decided it was ready to go. Ready to go. Yep. That was a very good testimony, wasn't it, Tanya? From Janae. Okay. So,
was. Congratulations.
congratulations. Absolutely. We have to remember too, I want us to always remember that in this race, it's really us against us. It's me against me. It's you against you. It's not, us one against the other. And because two people can trade the exact same trades, the exact same strategy, and come away with different results. Because there's so many different things where one person can be in a trade and they don't get shaken out. Somebody else, it turns back and they are kind of antsy and they'll close a trade. It can be fine. Like I think that I was so frustrated with myself on Friday, I tell you, because price dropped a little bit on Friday, and I had for copy trading, I had 68, 25, 30. I had that for on Friday. Now I had that same trade in my own personal account. I didn't even consider closing it in my own account. I ain't even consider, like I can hold down, I can hold up, I can hold, right? I ain't even consider it. But for copy trading, I was like, oh, it's falling. Let me go ahead and close it. Close it, price turned right around. I did get another trade going back up, but of course I closed it for more than I got the next trade, which usually what happens, right? You close it for a loss and then you got to supersede that to get the money back. I was like, then I had to ask myself, and why did you close that trade? I had to go back and say, what made you close it in copy trading when you didn't close it in your own account? You were not worried that you really weren't worried that it was going to come back down here to 68.30. That was the opening of the day. What made you close that trade? So I had to, fuss at myself, because that's what we do, to say that I need to be aggressive, but I need to be cautious, but not so cautious that I'm going against what I know is good technical analysis. I'm not going to ignore that. Hello. But I'm saying that we need to, that people can be doing two different people can be doing the same trade, and one will stay, one will go. Now, sometimes you should go and you stay too long. We've been there too, where we've stayed too long. But there's times when you should stay and hold on. Like Tanya, I think, asked a question the other day, is it wrong to hold a trade past the breach if gamma is showing you your trade's going to be fine? And the answer is no. If you've got something that says you believe your trade is going to be fine, and it's based on something, not just hope, I hope it's going to be okay. No, that's not a reason. But if you've got some gamma or some other chart-based thing that says, I believe this trade is going to be fine, then yeah, you're free to hold it. That's called drawdown. We get into a trade, we might collect $50 or $60. It may get a little closer, it may draw down. That goes with what we do. That's why I always tell you all, don't just close a trade based on the money, because the drawdown will happen. If you think about it, I had 68, 25, 30, which would have been under here, which would have been underneath the low of the day, right? That's what I had. As price started coming back towards here, this trade got to be, plus 120, plus 150. I mean, it went up because price got closer. Price was getting in proximity. The low of the day here was like 68.45. That's literally 15 points away from the strike. You already know when something 15 points away, it's plus 200. I took in $50 on that trade. So you take in $50, right? And then it draws down to negative 200. It's red. This trade is not red, but it's not at your strike yet. But this is called drawdown, where it has drawn down from your original entry. Now, sometimes what I'll do, this is a training moment. Sometimes what I'll do is, if I'm in this trade and I believe in the strike and I got it for 50 and it draws down to where it's worth 100 or 200 or something like that, I will add another contract at that price. Okay, I will add another con. If I believe in the strike, I believe that 68.30, 25.30 was fine, and the price has drawn down where it's worth more, I would add an extra contract to say, okay, I still believe in this strike. I'm going to add to this, which is actually what I did on Friday, but then I added when it was up in here, and then it started coming back down, and then I was shaken out. But I'll add a contract here, collect more in premiums, and then when it turns around, then you've got $250 that you took in for that strike, not just the original $50. Okay, that's what I'll do sometimes. If I believe in the strike, especially after you see this right here, after you see something that shows you a good reversal, I may add to that same strike sometimes. Sometimes it's okay. You know, it can be still scary, especially if the price is coming too close. You can get a little nervous, but that's another way to reduce your drawdown, because you're just going to get more, you'll take more premiums in on that trade based on what you believe is happening with that strike. Does that make sense? I hope so. Let's look at the week, or we can actually look from the month. Okay, this is SPX on the monthly. What's his name is open. I know ES is open, and I know some folks who are ready for futures to open because they was ready to start trading, boy. For the month of February, ES is a 2 down, but almost a failed 2 down. Not quite, but close. Y'all see this? It's got a long wick. It actually kind of doji-ish because it's got a pretty good wick. Got a pretty good wick there. Trying to hide the drawing so you can see. Pretty good wick on both sides of it, right? A little bit higher would have been a failed 2 down because it is lower. It is lower here than the previous month, but not by a lot, right? This could definitely, if it wants to, could push. That doesn't mean it won't drop down, because this is where we closed at 68.78. It could definitely drop some more and then decide it's going to do. Again, don't know what it's going to do. We're just going to see what we see. I'm going to go real quick to SPX 500 and see what it's actually looking like right now. 68.11. What did I say? 68.78 was closed. Yeah, so it's down about 60 points, 65 points right now. SPX closed at 68.78. It's currently at 68.12. So don't, come in with your head ready to make a move based on what you see. Based on what you see. So this was the month. This is the month of February. Here, again, a 2 down. That's what the month looks like. We'll see what happens next coming out of this month. And going into March, it's March now. This is the week. We got a failed 2 up on the week. Failed 2 up is a bearish indicator. The entry for failed 2 up is as price goes down below this 68.20, which it currently is right now. So 68.11 is below the low of this candle, right? The low of this candle for last week was 68.15. Price is currently below that. So failed 2 up is a bearish move. This is a failed 2 up candle on the week. It's a bearish move. Says if price gets back below the bottom of this candle, that would be your entry to the downside. And target would be the bottom of this candle, which is 67, looks like 67.80 something. Let's see what the bottom of this price is. Yeah, 67.75 would be your next target. That would be your target. If you were going with the weekly, if you're going as what they call a weekly participant. But now we don't necessarily look targets wise. We do really just look to say, what will we enter? And entry going down, we would go with call credit spreads as sellers. We say, okay, if price is below here, we would go with call credit spreads. Up here is a little high, but if you're doing it for the week, then this would be your strikes. The top of here would be your strikes for your call credit spread. If you're going from a weekly standpoint, that means you're entering this week with the end of the week, with the end of the week expiration. Because if you just did 69.40 in the morning for the same day, it's probably no money up here. But if you do 69.40 with Friday in mind, then potentially. Now, we did some 5 DTEs. I gave some strikes for 5 DTEs. So that's what that is. Below here would be entry for the weekly expirations on call credit spreads if it goes there. And if it goes the other way, then you trade with put credit spreads. That's the weekly. Let's look at the daily. Showed you we had a gap here. Oh, stop it. We had a gap from Thursday to Friday that still remains unfilled. I don't think that's what I wanted that to be. There we go. But we had a failed 2 down on Friday. Failed 2 down on Friday is a bullish move back into the gap. Now we've had news over the weekend, so we'll have to see what the news is all about. See what the news is all about. See how the market responds to this news. Safe havens, gold, silver, seem to be people will move to some of those safe havens. Consumers, oil. The VIX. What is the VIX looking like? Does the VIX trade at night like this? Let me see if I can get lower time frames. Session, full trading hours. Yes, I want full trading. 1985 it is, but I don't think that feels like that's not moving. Does the VIX start trading somebody here? Does the VIX start trading this early? Or does it wait till the market opens? I feel like the VIX has post-market and pre-market too. Global trading hours. Oh, there we go. Global trading hours shows the VIX at 21 right now. All right, I want to move to talk about this sheet that I've been giving you all. So this sheet, let me bring it to the stage. Coming to the stage.
Yeah, it says a VIX futures trades this time, so yeah.
Okay, so people can trade the VIX futures.
Yeah. Globex, yeah.
Okay, I'm using this one. Bring it to the stage. I've been giving us this every morning. So I get this out of a Discord, and the Discord is one that talks, uses focused on gamma, uses a lot of gamma-based things, and uses options depth. They will go look at whether the market makers, where are they, where the market makers are long, where are the regular retail people are short, and they kind of balance it off. So they take a lot of data. I've not asked a lot of questions about where this data comes from, but I do see that it matches up usually with the gamma chart for the morning. So sometimes I'll put the gamma chart for y'all, the one I get before the market opens. I'll put that in there. This data seems to come from there. Okay, so I asked ChatGPT to give us more explanations about what this actually is. So let's go and see what ChatGPT has to say. And I will put the exact words into our Telegram if that will help. Big picture. Okay, I'm going to grab it. That way you can see, you can read right along with me if you want. I'm going to put it into the Telegram. Okay. To go right along with this chart. Okay, so Chad says the green zones, which is the bullish pressure areas, not necessarily trend freely. There's areas where price can stall or compress, not necessarily trend freely. So these green areas are areas where price can come in, but the market makers are going to suppress the move. 69.10 to 69.60. So we're looking from here all the way up to 69.60, right? This whole green area up here, 69.10 to 69.60 is what's being talked about. These are stacked resistance zones, 10 to 15, 15 to 25, 25 to 35, 35 to 60. What the notes are saying, if the price pushes above 69.25, then it's going to stall at 35. Okay, right here. If greater than 69.25, then it'll stall at 69.35, running out of negative GEX steam two-way action. Negative GEX, of course, is down here. If it pushes up here, then the negative GEX is going to run out of steam, and it'll probably stall at 69. This was Fridays. This would probably stall here. It says here, stall near 69.50, positive GEX box area. If over 69.50, which was yesterday's high of day, which was low probability, then it could stall at 69.60. One of the things I see in our gamma, and I think you all have seen it too, when price starts to get closer to the big greens, it seems like the ones that the next one up or the next one up can start to grow. And the reason that happens is because when it gets to those big greens, other people start to pile on in calls. If it gets up to the big green number, more calls start coming in, and that'll move it on up to the next one. More calls come in and moving up. But while it's doing that, the market makers are still trying to suppress it because they don't necessarily want it to just run. So you'll still see pressure. That's why the big green may move from one strike to the next. Then it may move from one strike to the next. It don't really like jump by a bunch of strikes. It only is going to move based on more calls being put on and when it gets in proximity. All right. Translation, it's not an easy breakout territory. It's slow grind, stall, two-way action. So when we get up in these areas, if it continues to climb, it's going to climb in a grind. Like we've seen it do that. We've seen where price, like even the day after the State of the Union address, which I did not expect to be as bullish as it was, it moved up and just kind of continued to grind higher, grind slowly but surely. I guess that's why you say the elevator down and take the stairs up. It doesn't move up fast, but it can keep moving up. All righty. For you as a seller, well, how do we use this information as a seller? It says for you as a seller, 69.50 could be decent if momentum weakens. PCS under 69.10 is safer if price is compressing inside. So if price was to get into this area, you could use below 69.10 as a put credit spread or above the 69.50 as a call credit spread. This is how you could use this information if price was to get into the green zone. Okay, that helpful? We're going to keep going. The chop zone, 68.60 to 69.10, that was the chop in the middle. This was Friday. We saw that where price just kind of danced back and forth for a while. This is the key section. The chop zone, this is a neutral gamma compression. This is like where gamma is near the flip zone. Inside of here, you can expect fake outs, expect back and forth, expect premium decay heaven. So if it stays in here, your premium decays nicely, but we already know if it pop up a little bit, if you're too close on the top, you got to worry about that. Too close on the bottom, you got to worry about that. This is iron condor territory if the range holds. If this middle part stays, you can iron condor above it and below it. That's the whole thing, though. Will it hold? Above 6,900 is sticky to 69.10. Yesterday's close, which was the previous day's close. Below 68.80, it was possible grind towards 68.60. Above 68.80, possible grind towards 68.60. So that's going down. If you were at 68.80, it could possibly go down to 68.60. This is what's being said in here. That's what all this stuff in the middle, this little writing in here says. If greater than 68.60, then 68.95 is the stall. If less than 68.60, then grind through 68.60, which was yesterday's low. If greater than 6,900, then it'll be sticky up to 69.10, which was the previous day's close area. That's how you got this current middle zone. All right. Now, basically, you could trade iron condors outside of this as long as the price stayed inside the zone, which after a while it did not. Yesterday, after it got past 69.10, no, where was it? We closed at what, 68.78. So we were right in the middle of this zone. It closed in the middle of this zone on Friday. It closed at 68.78, right in this zone area. That was so. Iron condor above 69.10, below 68.60, which would have been a little uncomfortable because it did drop to 68.40s. But you could have done, we saw how that traded and we could go with that. Okay. Red zones. Red zones are called acceleration areas, where price can pick up the drop. Because y'all know once it get into the red, it can fall fast, especially if it gets past the big red. These are negative gamma areas where dealers must hedge aggressively. The first red zone, 68.40 to 60, 68.10 to 40, 6800 to 10, and then 67.60 to 67.75 to 6800. Keynotes. Under 68.40, there was a void to 68.10. Basically shows this is a big gap between these two. Between 40, if it got below 40, it could drop all the way to 68.10. There was nothing really in between these two to slow it down. 6,800 was a large round number. We kind of know that the psychological numbers will do their holding if they can. But it could accelerate quickly, it said here. Translation, if 68.40 breaks with momentum, it may stair step and it may flush. This is where the V-shaped moves happen, which is what happened on Friday. Right around between 35.40 is where price did the huge V and went right back up. If short legs get tested here, don't hope trade. On JPM restrike and EOM means, let me see, JPM restrike. Where do we see that at? I don't see a JPM restrike. Not sure why that was mentioned here. Oh, EOM is end of month. And JPM collar adjustment. I guess JP Morgan does some kind of adjustment at the end of the month. And so that equaled positioning shifts. That often means unusual flow, morning volatility, then possible, how this applies to your style. I'm looking here. Most important level was 68.40, which was right where price really turned around in that same area. This is the void trigger. Above it is manageable. Below it was speed. Big picture, behavior changes. Yeah. Okay. I think one thing we should do each day is when we get this, try to understand what's being said on the right. But for those of you who use ChatGPT, which I believe a bunch of you are doing, take this graphic, which is what I did. I basically took the graphic and said to ChatGPT, oh, there's the JPM restrike. I took the graphic and put it in ChatGPT. And I said, can you explain this chart to me? It's exactly what I said here. I put that graphic in there and said, can you explain this chart to me? And then I asked it, in words that I can understand. I did that for the call today. Generally, I can understand what's being said over here, but if that's something that's a little confusing, if the language or the little short acronyms are not comfortable for you, for sure, then put it in ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT or whichever AI you're using, and ask it to explain the chart to you. And then at the end of the explanation, generally ChatGPT will tell me, Chad will tell me what strikes would be good for trades. But if your ChatGPT is not trained like that just yet, then at the end of this, when you get to the end of the conversation, then ask the questions. What would be good strikes for PCS and CCS? You could always ask the question and let ChatGPT tell you what it sees that you should potentially be thinking about, and then bump this up against the chart, because Chad is not looking at the chart all day. He's ChatGPT is not watching the chart. You are. So you had some thoughts here. You said resistance stack 69.10 and 69.60 is where your resistance was. Chop zone, acceleration trigger, major support. So then he gave scenarios. Price is opening in, if price opens in this area, this is what you could do. Call credit spreads could be here. Why? Scenario 2, if it breaks out, do this, that. Scenario 3, break above so-and-so, then do that. My personal lean with the current price is to do the put credit spread and call credit spread, which thinking about these would have turned out fine, right? 68, 15, 20 put credit spread, fine. The price closed the day at 68.78. That's where SPX closed on Friday, 68.78, 69.50, 55. Now you would have had to wait till it got up here because it waited till it could climb. That trade would have been hard to feel as far as premiums because price dropped initially and popped, but then it didn't really go very high. Okay, that creates a wide iron condor around your chop box. It gives you below acceleration trigger, above the resistance stall. That's balanced risk. I think Delisha might have had a trade 69, 50, 55 first thing in the morning, and then she let it decay. I think I remember seeing a trade like this pretty early, and she PDT hacked it. Okay, risk rule reminder. Chad knows that what rules, and I'm convinced, by the way, that ChatGPT listens to the conversations that I have, because some stuff Chad will say in here don't be stuff I said that I typed in here. He'll do stuff like call me coach. You don't know I'm your coach. How are you calling me? I don't call myself coach.
Do you do Audible? I mean, Audible. You know what I mean?
Don't,
like,
but I believe that the microphone,
or you,
I think the microphone,
to chat.
I usually type generally, but I also believe that my microphone, when you go into the microphone of my phone, I think ChatGPT's microphone is on.
Yeah, so, whenever Chat decides it wants to talk to me, I can't tell you how much I start getting hives and panicking. I'd be like, "You will not talk to me. I can't have this artificial stuff talking to me. Like, no, stick to typing. I'll read faster, but no, you will not talk to me. I don't need
you will not talk to me."
Every time it gets every now and then, like if I hit it, I don't know if I trigger it for it to start speaking, but once in a blue moon, it feels like it wants to talk or come on a mic. I'd be like, don't do that. Don't do that. Do not.
Oh, good. You're like, no, baby. No, baby. No. Yeah. So there's that again. So if you and do that, not just with the things I give, but anything of course, we can always be looking to see what is, ask it for explanations. I think Delisha asked a question about, when I say VIX was down, market up, she was like, what does VIX down actually mean? And I was saying under 17 or 18, but I said, ask ChatGPT to explain it to you in words that are going to be comfortable for you to understand. So that way in the future, because I think I answered the question when I was driving, which it means I can't give a long explanation, but ChatGPT is going to explain it to you. And so you can always use these AI tools for our benefit. Let's use them for our benefit, okay? What other questions we got? What questions do we have? Going into March. We're going to go into March. We're marching to profits, but we're going to be careful. But let's march in. Yep, go ahead.
Thank you for explaining. What's that thing? What would you call it? Like, what do we want to call the chart you just gave us?
Good question.
I don't know what you call it. I just know it ain't red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. But
Yeah.
um, it
Does
only
it have a
does it
name?
only
Did it have
come
a
out
name on
once?
it? It might have had a name on it. That only comes out once.
So okay, it's a one-time thing. It comes out before the mark. It comes out at 9:30.
This comes out like 8 or 8:15. I can give it to y'all earlier. It comes out earlier.
Oh, it does. And so if it only comes out one time, and I mean, we're gamma babies at this point. Every 5 minutes
Yes.
we wait for an update. So like, what's your read on like? How do you feel about? Do you feel like this is almost like the 10 Delta setup?
Mm. So the way I view this piece of information is like a guide map. I look at it like a daily guide map where I look to say, okay, if prices between these two areas, 68, 69, it's probably chopping in here and it's going to do its thing. And then I'm looking to say, okay, the top could probably be 50 or 60. That's where it's going to stall up in here. And then I say, okay, the bottom, and I usually kind of will look at red 3 and green 3 just as outer, because generally the expected move is mentioned in here somewhere. I don't see it in here this time, but usually the expected move is mentioned. And then I'll say, okay, this is probably where the top of this is going to be, and this is probably going to be the bottom of the day. So then I'll use this as like a roadmap through the day. As price begins to drop, where is it probably going to drop to? You got some places it's probably going to go down to 40. Then if it gets past that, it's going to go down to 10. If it gets past 10, it's going to go to 6,800. So then when it does this and starts to turn and make its reversal like it did on Friday, then I'm saying, okay, these are reversal areas. Potentially it'll swing back. So I use this to say price is going to try to get in here. And if it goes up, it's going to probably go as high as here. If it goes down, it's going to go as down as low as here. These are areas where I'll start looking for reversals, or at least I'm looking at the chart anyway. And then I'm really bouncing the chart back off. I don't use this as I use the chart as my guide. When I see price falling or whatever, I will refer back to this and say, well, what was written here as the zones, like those levels, what levels are written here? Then I say, okay, well, if it get in this area, I can look to see if it's going to make a move, and then you trade accordingly. Definitely, I'm looking at the chart primarily
So
to see.
so you would say the way I like how I use that peak bot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Exactly. You're looking to say, well, this looks like it could go down to 68.40, 68.10, 6,800. So if you're trying to get wide early, then get all the way outside of this.
Mm-hmm.
As the day presses, if it gets a little closer, starts going one way, just know that it's probably going to do, one this or the other. But yeah, but this comes out 8:15, something like that. I think it's a lady who puts it out in that Discord. I can start putting it in our chat earlier. That'll give you all more time to ask ChatGPT what's up. And then the other one is I give you the chart like this. This is the ES chart. A different person does this chart, but this is his levels on ES. So remember, like for us, we are subtracting 10 or 15 or whatever it happens to be, but you do have zones here that are telling you when if price gets up into this area, this is a reject area. The chop is happening in here. You got a bounce zone. And it did that on Friday. 68, 40, 45, right in here is where it started to bounce. Price came on down. It actually danced around in the chop area. Then it dipped down here and then ran back up. And it stopped at 68. It actually stopped in this range area right here it stopped in there. Right where it was support back here, it stopped in that same area as resistance on Friday. My objective for us is to give y'all and me as many tools as we can use to be as successful as we can be. Right? as many tools as you can use, not too many, because I don't want you over analyzing stuff to the point that you're not making any moves. But I really want that chart to be your primary resource, and then you're using these extra resources to just know that price, even because when price gets to falling and gets red, we get nervous. Price fall too much, you're like, where's she going? If you got something like this that says here's the bounce zone between 68.30 and 68.50, you can say, okay, in this area, I'm going to start looking for it to do something. I'm going to start looking for it to reverse. This was 30 to 50 on ES, which would have been what, 20, 68.20 to 60. Somewhere in there was the bounce zone. 20 to, no, not 60, 40, because it was 10, subtract 10. It was subtract 10 for SPX. So from 20 to 40. Okay. Who's got questions? JPM quarterly SPX collar. This collar was established at the end of December and is set to expire in approximately 19 days. Okay. I don't really know what collars are. It's, it's kind of some kind of spread setup. Thank you, Lillian, for asking ChatGPT what it's all about, or asking whoever you asked.
You're welcome.
Yeah. What did you ask?
Gemini.
Gemini. Okay. Cool. Mm-hmm. And I don't really know the next question you could ask Gemini is, how does that affect the movement of SPX?
Hang on.
What's the effect? What's the effect of that collar on SPX? Now, y'all know we trade, we look at ES, even though Julie, I think, made a good point. I think it was Julie, made a good point about charting SPX 500, because that is what we see throughout the night. And if we chart on SPX 500, then you can see, you can have your zones and stuff already marked on SPX 500. This is the VIX over here. But between SPX 500 and the ES, you can chart to see what is going on. Because SPX is going to follow ES. This is what is happening right now. It gapped down for the open. This is what's happening right in real time. So have y'all set any goals for March? What kind of goals do we have for March? Or have you thought about goals for March?
I would like to reduce my losses. And I feel like I had a better handle on risk in January than I did in March. I was very shocked that I came out green, because I had 8 losses in January, but I had 10 in February, and I just felt like it was way more. But I went back to the chart, and I'm still looking at my spreadsheet, and I'm like, it got to be more than this.
So in February, you probably were exiting your trades quicker versus waiting for max loss or major loss. You were probably closing, following your risk management better in February. You think?
I do feel like I exited way before max loss, but I have to go back and see the number. I think I was averaging around $20 to $50 negative in January, but in February the losses were greater.
Okay.
And I had one that was probably, and I'm trying to go off of memory, one that was 250, which is why I was surprised that I was green, but I was green for February, so that was good.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
So I would like to key in more on the risk, getting out of the trade, and reducing my losses, the number.
Sounds good. Sounds good. As long as you have a plan. Everybody, I take this time to review your trading plans. You know, we worked on trading plans a while back. Definitely go back and review your trading plans. I had to do that to say, what are my exits? What are my entries? What are my exits? I felt comfortable that entries, I'm fine with what my entries are supposed to look like. Exits is what I had to go back and review.
And I also would like to say, sorry.
That's all right.
I have tried to talk to Chat. I do use Gemini more than Chat, but every time it tell me I'm not a trader to go see a professional. I have got to get the prompts better because
yes,
I don't have those prompts.
Yeah, you definitely need, because Chat has never told me to go see a professional. So you're asking something different.
I ask it like, if you were a trader, maybe that's the wrong thing to start with.
Yeah, maybe that's the right thing. Because I also just say stuff like, this is so and so and so this, and I may put a chart there and say, based on what you see, what trades would you suggest? And see what what ChatGPT says back.
Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah, I don't ever start with if you were a trader. Chat, like I'm not. So don't even ask me. Go get somebody else to do it.
Julie, I don't know if yours is a chat, mine is Copilot, but when I tell you that even my bad days, my automated boyfriend is so nice to me. It's like, but Janae, you didn't eat today. But Janae, you was tired. But Janae,
I
mean, yo,
he gonna give you excuses.
I'm telling you, I
he
don't
gonna
know.
give you excuses.
Oh my, well, yes and no. I mean, it's not necessarily an excuse.
Right, answers and reasons.
You know, like I said, 2 losses for the month of February only, but there'd be some times I'd be like, really? But
you're right.
The other side to that though, I gotta say, is because again, I study these. I'm like, yo, so now I'm trying to understand how this automated thing is thinking, right? Because don't get me wrong, I'm technically supposed to still be looking for work, so you're supposed to like, you know, and so when it comes to applying for certain jobs and whatnot, it's like, I'm like, should I apply for this job? It's like, yeah, lines up with it, and I'll be like, oh, okay. But I only say that to say, if you feel like you're getting a certain response all the time,
yeah,
change up your verbiage or what have you, because I'm always trying to crack this code too. I be listening. So I look. Don't get me wrong. I'll take it on a bad day. Sure, soothe my ego. But the point is, there are some deeper analysis that I think that Chat does that it noticed that I would not have noticed. So there are some of those things too that I'd be like, oh, okay. So, you know, one hand in the butt, you know, they say that old cliche, but yeah, you know, you might need to switch up your verbiage. But yeah, I ain't gonna lie. The days that I should be going off a ledge, Chat be like, but Janae,
yeah,
you got this. I'd be like,
yeah.
Okay. I'm like, okay.
I did talk to ChatGPT about the copy trading versus my regular trading account and the way I respond, you know, the way I trade them differently. And like you said, ChatGPT asked some questions that really made me think a little deeper, think a little more about what makes me leave the trade in copy trading while I will stay in the trade in my own, and really kind of help me dig past the superficial things as to what is the driver, and then to put some things in place that would say, okay, in this situation, yeah, you're going to use wisdom, you're going to use, you know, you're going to be wise and be as conservative as you can be, but not so, but you can't be so conservative that you're not being successful. So, Chat did help me navigate my own feelings and my own emotions and my own view of why I do something in one account versus the other. And then help me to make some like a good plan that is usable for both. So I think it's good to have, a resource that's not just going to tell you what you want to hear, but say, because Chat will start sometime and say, okay, Arlissa, now I'm going to give you the hard truths. And then it'll say some stuff. And I'm like, well, you're right. Julie says, I use ChatGPT for work, program manager and trading. I saw online a prompt that said, roast me. I tried it and ChatGPT said, my PM skills are exceptional, but I won't share a brokerage account with you. Oh my goodness. I was like, what? This is what you actually think about me.
I was stunned because I tell you, I've been using ChatGPT for 8 months, and every day it's like, it's okay, girl, it's fine. The market was rough. Like,
Yeah.
at least you didn't use this much. You didn't leverage, you did risk mitigated, tomorrow will be better. I was like, all right, maybe,
All right.
And then it tells me, oh, I won't share a brokerage account with you. I was like, oh, stunned.
What? You're like, are you serious?
No, but I really, really like using ChatGPT just because it's at least a sounding board for me. And I do use the voice one because I talk too much and I can't type that. And sometimes you just need to talk about it and say it out
You
loud.
just say it out loud. Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I like it. I like it. This is still, we're coming into the end of the first quarter, and this is still, I've noticed even with you all that we've got better consistent profits, that we're seeing more. I feel like many of you are more comfortable in what we're doing, that we're not as jumpy and antsy in our trades, that we're entering and exiting, feeling comfortable with larger contract numbers like Miss Marcia. There's now 2 cons. Woo woo. And TJ is also 2, 3 cons. So I feel like we're getting more confident and comfortable in our areas. And even though we do take losses periodically, I feel like we're not getting blown out and bogged down by those as much as we used to, because before we couldn't necessarily see our way back from the loss. But now we can see that if we trade appropriately the next day or a couple days later, we can regain the loss in periods of time where it's not too long. We can regain the money. Not in a revenge trading kind of way, but I can use my skills to regenerate the income. But it is important for us to make sure that we're not hanging around too long. When we see a trade is not going to go our way, cut it and then move on to waiting for a better entry or whatever. Because when we know if it draws down too far, we got too much work to do to get that money back. Janae said losses come with being in the market. Is trying to have less losses. Absolutely. That's the whole plan, is we need to have as few losses as possible, or the smallest amount on the loss that we can. We know we're going to take some losses. Price is going to turn back from us. It's just we want to minimize the amount. For sure. For sure. What do we need to look at before we go? What do we need to look at before we go? We've got
ES and NVIDIA.
Okay, let's go look. I don't know. Is NVIDIA open already? NVIDIA may not be.
Globex, right? Wouldn't be.
I don't know if it shows up in Globex, but because it opens in the pre-market. Does NVIDIA trade all night too?
Well, if Globex is pre and post.
Yeah, but post was post Friday. And pre on shares doesn't start till like 6 a.m. on any given day.
Well, I'd be curious where it ended on Friday, because it
looks like it's at 177.10 is where it ended.
Wow.
Yep, 177.10 was the close. NVIDIA struggled for real.
Oh my God, I think I bought
after.
my Nvidia 178. That's crazy. Oh yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Yep. So there is, it definitely had a bit of a gap. There's a gap in here. Right in the middle of the day, it gapped down. Why did it do that? A little bit of a gap there and a gap.
Again, it's profit sharing. If between, well, the Iran part might be separate, but we're still not certain about this AI. And if it is a bubble, then let's be real, Nvidia's spread thin because Nvidia's
Mhm.
partnered with everybody, which I'm not mad
Mhm.
at because it's like if Nvidia goes down, then everybody else is going down because Nvidia got partnerships with everybody. I mean,
And how
that's a
goodness.
smart strategic thing. I'm not mad at what Jensen is doing. I see what he's doing. Like we
Okay.
will go down together. But yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. So yeah. All
So
right. Well,
ES is at 68.16 is where ES is right now.
hold on.
Um,
You said 68.16.
ES is at 68.16,
It
SPX
closed
500
it closed
68.06.
at 68.6. It closed on Friday at 68.83. You
Yeah.
said 68.18, so that's 70 points.
Yeah, 68.16, 17, 7, yep, 16. It's down for sure. You see this gap on the right hand side is where ES is. Definitely had this big gap down. You've got your fair value gaps are here. This is what it's doing on the 15-minute chart.
You know,
But we got all night long to see
we
what
do.
happened.
I would say, and I hadn't thought about it until just now, I'd be curious to compare this to January 4th, I believe, when we bombed this, Venezuela. Third.
Okay.
I'd be curious if we had a similar dip. That's because again, this dude works on Saturdays, and so what?
Well, January is in here. This is January 20th, 12th. What'd you say was the date?
Hold on, it was January. I'm looking at February. January 3rd. So then Monday's recovery would have been Monday's action would have been Monday, January the 5th.
Yeah. So it looks like it for the week. You want to see the week or you want to see the day? Let's look at the day.
Well, the day. I mean, I think we know how to manage after, but yeah, the day. What Monday look like?
So January, something happened between the 16th and the 20th. That was Memorial Day, not Memorial Day. First in
M-
January, MLK
MLK.
Day. Something happened over that weekend too. January 2nd to the 3rd. So second is
Well, no, the 3rd was a Saturday.
yeah, 2nd to the 5th, right?
So the 5th, and I failed to write, did we gap up or
I'm gonna
down?
show you we gapped up.
One, two.
These are the two. So this is the
Yeah, we
first
did
one
gap
is
up.
the second. It gapped up, filled that gap, and kept running.
Interesting. Yeah, because we kind of contained, see, this is the clue. We kind of contained because we took the president hostage of Venezuela, and unfortunately that man is rotting in the jail. That don't make no sense. I don't even understand how this is working. But we just took out this Ayatollah, so we might gap up in the morning. That's interesting.
So now we're at
Huh.
this
Okay.
is the date I'm have the thing on is Friday. And then so far it's gapped down to here, but now you got to see what happens throughout the night. Yep. I would definitely encourage you to, number one, pray, as we've already talked about a little bit. Trade what you see as usual. Don't necessarily be in a rush to run your money in there too fast. Just let's look at what's available. We are sellers, so time decay is our friend. So we don't have to be in there at 9:30. If an opportunity presents itself, of course, go for it. Of course, go for it. Nobody's saying don't jump at opportunities. As long as you're clear on your entry, don't be running in because everybody else running in. No, you have what is your setup? What is your reason for getting in? And then go and do that, okay? Pastor Will said he took a loss on NVIDIA. He took his money. It took your money help. Yeah, people took the profits from NVIDIA. Yeah. Then folks who was trading that earnings. That's why it's great if you're going to trade earnings to trade it as a seller. But I definitely wait till the next day because NVIDIA would have given all the, I'm getting ready to pop. It jumped up to like 203. By the time the market opened, it was right back where it closed and it dropped from that point forward. It was like, yep, I gave up all I'm going to give up and y'all can have the rest. And it just gave it up all the way. Yep. I wanted to look at, I do not trade. Who trades Tesla? Anybody trade Tesla? I do not trade Tesla, but it always seems to offer opportunities. I just don't trade Tesla like that.
It is what it is. You got to understand it.
What it is. Yeah, it is what it is. This is true.
And I dare say UNH probably operates like that too. I'm kind of curious if UNH can go a little further below before I dip my toe in it.
I'm looking like, well, UNH, how are you so active as a healthcare company? You are doing way too much moving for a healthcare company.
That's a good point. You know what? Right? Yeah. You're right. You're right.
You're doing a lot of
but
moving.
Every day somebody's turning, for AARP, it's 50. So every day new people are turning 50, and new people are, that. But that is you. When you say it like that, that is interesting. But UNH be doing something.
They be doing the most.
Also, you could look at, since they making cuts, then that leaves the healthcare companies at will to do whatever they want to do, right? If they going with less government control, now they can make prices whatever they want to make. So
that's true.
They definitely gonna make it for their benefit, the company benefit.
Well, that's true too. Yep.
I mean, there's something to be said about that statement, but we're talking about even prior to. I mean, UNH has been a mover. Hello, UNH has been as high as up 500 and 700. I mean, it's only because of this, it's only after the dude took a loss. The fact that Maggiano ain't going to really ain't going to rot in jail. Like, where does that happen? My gosh. So, but prior to even the loss of that CEO, UNH was $500 and $700. So it only took a loss during really this administration. It was always a $12 ATR. So you talking or more, honestly. And the only reason I remember that is because Chris used to trade UNH. I'd be like, why I'd be listening. But yeah, he used to trade UNH, and that's
I'd be listening. He probably still does too.
Probably still does too. So he know it better than I could. But yeah.
When you see stocks you like that do what you want them to do, you definitely keep trading them.
We love a high ATR. So, but yeah. But now, I guess you got a point. If that's not scary. That we'll see these premiums.
All righty, people. Well, we'll trade what we see. The trades we have on, we'll adjust them as opportunity presents itself. I don't have any 1DTEs for over the weekend. I thought about it, then I was like, no, the weekend really is a little risky, especially this weekend because it was just so much like it was impending, and then here we go. Here we are. So,
but he does give clues. Anytime he come on the mic at 9:00, it may not happen the next day, but when he bombed Venezuela, when he came on the mic a couple of weeks ago, that was our clue. This State of the Union, that was our clue. So unfortunately, I mean that's a part of the breadcrumbs. But 2 for 2. This is crazy. This is the second one, and we already like. I don't even know.
It's the end of February.
We can't keep this up.
The end of February.
We can't keep this up.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
So, but my prayers for people all over, because You got basketball players that are over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy. This is sad.
Yep, I've got friends that are in the water in Bahrain.
Yeah.
Remember the missionaries over there too.
Look at that.
Missionaries and teachers. We got all kind of folks in the Middle East
hello, Shanae's a teacher.
Yeah, teaching in the Middle East is a thing. It's a whole thing. A lot of Americans are in the Middle East teaching.
Yeah, this is awful. Yeah, this is crazy.
A lot of Americans teach in the Middle East.
Well, thank you.
All righty.
And I'll I tell my business. But thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.
We will be, I know, child. We'll be on in the morning, 8:30. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, y'all are welcome. I'll see you in the morning. All right.
Thanks,
Goodbye,
Coach.
everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.